All right, all right, all right. We are live. We are live. And let's get straight into it, guys. Welcome to Market Update Time with your host, Johnny Howe. We're going to be looking at the markets today, and yeah, we're getting a bit of a follow through right now today, which is quite interesting to see happening in the markets, and a continuation of what's been going on in the markets, which is really, really interesting. Before I get started, guys, into today's market. Continuation of what's been going on. Hey, doubles, Justin, doubles. Don't fight the market. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Let's go over to. Alrighty, guys. So let me bring up the typical disclaimer before I do start, guys. And let me get started into today's session. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Alrighty, guys. So do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this session today, because trading is risky. There is no guarantees of making a profit in the markets. So you must be smart about the way that you're trading and investing into these markets. And be smart about what you are doing and how you are trading these markets. Also, guys, if you haven't done so yet, you can go get the trading course at johnsflashsale.com. The $7 flash, you can get that there at johnsflashsale.com. And if you are interested in joining my weekly coaching program, my private weekly coaching program, where you get access to my #1 strategy and also weekly and weekly group coaching course, then very first link in the description, click on that, fill out the application form, and I'll be happy to give you a call. Now, let's get started now, guys. Yeah, I have to say that to myself quite often. Oh, Justin, are you saying don't fight the market? Is that what you're saying? Really, really, really interesting to see what's going on right now, guys, with the markets. And the thing that's happening right now in the stock market, guys, which is really interesting, is that we're still getting a nice continuation move on the upside. We've had this nice sort of time phase through here on the Dow Jones 30, and now we're just starting to slowly get a bit of a breakout here. No strong breakout yet, but we're starting to get a little bit of a breakout here, which is really, really interesting in the market. We're also seeing right now also on the S&P 500, we're also the S&P 500 is getting a breakup. The only question I have to ask is that the S&P 500 is still slowly stepping up. A little bit of a breakup. We're at this level of resistance once again. So it'll be really interesting to see what actually happens through here. Do we continue up from here? Do we continue breaking up? Or do we get some more of a pullback through here? Because the Dow Jones has been going through a bit of a time, and now it's breaking up. So maybe that's going to continue dragging the S&P back to the upside. So it's very, very weird right now what's happening with the S&P and the Dow Jones. And as you said just there, Justin, yes, some disconnect between the indices. Totally right. Totally right. So that's where that's where there's a very, very, very big indecision that's happening right now. And also on the NASDAQ as well too. Same sort of thing on the NASDAQ. The thing is, guys, is that the NASDAQ and the S&P are still getting me a bit perplexed, so to speak, is that we're getting a nice upward trend. Don't fight the market, so don't be trying to short this market. People that are trying to short this market are still trying to pick a top. But the fact of the matter is, guys, is that we've been going up for quite some time without any real decent pullback in the market. So it's really interesting to see what's going on through there. But the Dow Jones, which is the top 30 stocks, which I believe is the leader, has been resting, and now it's trying to break out once again and trying to go for another run back to the upside. So really, really interesting to see what's happening through there. We're getting a nice volume on the DIA. We're getting not much of a volume on the SPY, which is, again, really, really interesting to see what's happening through there. And now we're getting also another nice bounce off this transportation average, a nice move to the upside. So things are looking quite bullish, guys. Things are looking still to this day, everything is still very bullish. There's no need for, or there's no trend reversals or anything like that. Especially the Dow Jones, we're starting to slowly try to break up right now. S&P 500 is still breaking up to new highs. So there really is no need to think that this is the top in the markets. And for people that have been trying to short the markets now for the last month or so, have been very quiet in the chat box. Where have you been? You have disappeared. Yeah, don't try and fight the markets. Don't try and fight the markets. Don't try and fight the markets. Moving on now to silver and gold, guys. Bit of a quick silver gold update. Gold actually broke out, but now we're just being pretty flat right now on gold right now. So, again, like I do expect to see a lot more downward movement in gold as well, and same with silver as well too. Silver is definitely in a nice downward trend right now. We're getting this. Forget that. We're getting a nice downward trend right now, a breakout. So right now we're having a bit of a double bottom, bit of a sideways movement, but I'm expecting a bit more follow through in the metals right now. Now, a few days ago, I also mentioned about the silver and the gold junior stocks, about how they're breaking out and they're looking weak right now. And that's exactly what's been happening ever since I talked about this breakout bar here. Is when I said, that's it. I believe now we're likely to get a bit more follow through to the downside right now. And that's exactly what's been happening. Lower low, lower high. Now the silver juniors breaking past previous lows. So we are getting that sell-off in the markets that I was expecting in the silver juniors. And also same for the gold stocks juniors as well too. This breakout bar here said to me now things are changing now. We've got a big breakout bar here. And this gap here was likely to be a breakaway gap. And now we're getting a follow through. We do have this level of support where we are right now. So this is probably a bit of a channel here, but we do have this is the previous lows through here. But we are now getting a bit of a change in tune, a change in trend, that is. And so we're just following through now. So we're likely to get a lot more downside now to coming out of gold stocks through the gold juniors and silver juniors through there. Now, looking at the actual silver stocks itself, that's also following through as well too. Notice how we couldn't break past previous highs up here. This is actually a bit of a warning sign. And now we're getting red candle, red candle, red candle, red candle, big red candles all the way down. So looking very, very, very weak on the downside, silver juniors, and going to the GDX. Again, bit of a double top action, but we're not getting as weak of a movement here in the gold stocks. We're still going through this. This is a period where there's no one really in control. So we need a bit more. Yeah, if we start to break past 2150, then the sellers are in control, and then we're likely to see a lot more downward movement to come out of that. And the same for the JNUG as well too. Obviously, JNUG is obviously following the silver gold juniors. So JNUG's doing exactly what the juniors are doing as well too. So I definitely wouldn't want to be short the stock market right now, and I definitely wouldn't want to be long any of the metals right now. And you guys have been seeing that for the last week now. Ever since we did get a breakout. Now I did think that due to the fact a week ago, as gold stocks are breaking up to $23, I did think, and I even did a video saying that we're in a very strong upward trend, and if we break up, well, then we're likely to see some upward movement. But what ended up happening, the very next few days, we actually got this big gap down, and especially on the GDX juniors, we got a big gap down. Now confirming, okay, breakout bar, lower low, lower high, breaking down. We're now changing trend. It doesn't matter what I said last week. The market's now shifting a momentum, and now I have to flow with that. Some people got their knickers in a knot when they said, "Oh, John, but last week you said gold stocks are looking bullish." They were looking bullish, but now because we actually got that change in trend, we have to flow with it. Flow with the market, don't fight it. Flow with the market, don't fight it. John, can you take a look at COTY? I think it's setting up like you look for. Can you validate? Really, Justin? Like what I look for. COYT. COTY. COTY. No, that's not what I look for. It's definitely a strong sideways movement through here, like a lot of small bars. So that'd be really interesting to see. Maybe hourly. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with the hourly chart. Maybe we get some sort of hourly breakout, like a big hourly breakout bar would be quite nice out of this one. Um, um, so yeah, but there's nothing. Nah, I do see a lot of small bars through here. Also a lot of sideways movement through here, but no, that weekly chart is definitely. Jeez, my stomach just growled at me. I think it's hungry. So we had, I've been fasting all morning. So we had this nice move down, nice move up. That weekly chart would stay would yeah would keep me out of any trades out of this one here. But it's not exactly what I look for. Nah, Justin, nah. As I said before, Justin, you said just looking for the breakout bar. Nah, nah, no. I will never trade against that weekly trend. That big weekly trend there, I'll never trade that. I'll never trade that. I would never trade ever against that weekly trend. Now, depending on the size of the breakout bar and plus these big gaps through here, no, I wouldn't touch it. No. Golden Cross on the SPY today. You like, John? Paleo? No. Who gives a shit about the Golden Cross? Because a month ago, people were saying, oh, the Golden Cross down. And the market's been going up. Oh, the Golden Cross back to the upside. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, who cares about the Golden Cross? The 50's crossing the 200. Who cares? The most important part is what the market's telling us. Oh, but when the market dropped down, John, you know, we had the Golden Cross. Yeah. What good was that when we had a massive rally back to the upside again? And yeah, so who cares about the Golden Cross? FDX also breaking out of its range. FDX. No. No, Paleo? No. Big weekly downward trend. So even if we did get a short-term upward movement, I would expect this weekly chart to follow back down again. So I definitely wouldn't want to be trying to go long this market right now. No way. Right? There's no way I'd be going long this market right now. When you have this big weekly lower high, lower low, we had this bit of a pullback through here. Yeah, you may get a little bit of an upward movement, but the chances are is that we're likely to, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be fighting that market there. I definitely like this sort of pullback here with the bar that stands out. That's sort of trade there, but because that was going with the trend at the time. But nah, I wouldn't. FDAX is not a setup for me. It's not even a setup without even the entry bar. So I wouldn't want to be touching this at all. No way. So, but you said, Paleo, you said that FDAX is breaking out. This is the resistance up here. And this is the support down here. It's just sideways. Sideways. So yeah, so it's not breaking out, no. And even if it was breaking out, it's definitely not a trade for me personally. I definitely wouldn't want to be going long when you have this weekly downward trend like that. No way. So, and that's the one thing. That's the one big thing, guys. You got to understand about what your trading rules are. Like even if I see a really good setup on the daily chart, if I see I'm trading against that weekly trend, bump low probability. Low probability. Well, Paleo, even if there is a breakout to the upside, it's not a trade for me. No way, I wouldn't touch that. One, it's not exactly the pullback. It's not exactly. It's not the setup I'm looking for. Even on the daily chart, it's not the setup I'm looking for. For me to have a trade, I need to see a lot more. I need to see a type of setup that I'm looking for. That sideways. Just because we have all that sideways movement right now doesn't mean it's a setup for me to have an entry bar or a confirmed breakout bar. Even if we get a breakout bar, my setup is not there. So who cares if we get a breakout bar? It's not a trade for me either way. I need to see a certain setup first before the breakout bar for me personally. So just because we have a nice sideways range like we are right now, that's not my setup. That's time. Yes, this is time what we're seeing right now, but I need to see, within that time phase, I need to see a certain setup. I need to see the time phase look a certain way for it to be a setup for me. So yeah, so that's basically what's been happening right now, guys. Overall, we've been getting a lot of movement. So I wouldn't want to be right now, guys. I wouldn't want to be. The thing is, guys, as you can see, what I've been saying for the last week right now, guys, is that I don't fight the stock market. People who are trying to short the stock market right now and have been fighting me on this are still now have disappeared, have been really, really cranky with themselves. And I guarantee you now they're hurting. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, guys, is that just don't fight the market. That's all. Just don't fight it. Because every time you fight the market, every time you try and pick a top, you're not going to be right. So trying to be short the stock market right now is very risky. I'm talking about the indices, okay? There's plenty of shorting opportunities in the markets. In fact, I'm actually short two different markets right now. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I'm in those trades right now, but I'm actually short two trades right now. Yeah, but when it comes to the Dow Jones, the S&P, and the NASDAQ, if you're trading those particularly, then I wouldn't want to be short right now. And again, I wouldn't want to be long the metals or even the metal miners and stuff like that right now. Everything's looking very weak on the metals, very strong on the markets. Any thoughts on BA? Yeah. We had a big move up and then we had a move down, and now we're sort of just collaborating through here. So this actually just could be just a nice continuation move back to the upside. Could just be a nice continuation. We had a big move up and a big move down. Looks like it's probably going to start to continue back up now and maybe even close this gap up here. It came down and closed this gap right here. That's what it did right now. So it's probably heading back up right now to close that gap. So and if people are trying to short this Boeing right now, I know a lot of people are, because of all the news they've been hearing about all the problems they've had, so therefore they're likely to go down. It just had a big move up, major high. From the low to the high, it only retraced 50%, held the 50%, and now this could just be another continuation move up. Now it can be that. Last week I did think that this could be some sort of big blow off top, but right now it's holding that 50% level quite strongly, which is a strong sign, and now we're running back up. So we may be heading back up to close that gap again. So if you're trying to short Boeing right now, the market is way more bullish. Like look at even my moving average. Look at the moving average, still pointing very north. What does that mean? It means momentum is still very strong on the upside. Higher high, still higher low through here. Probably going to close the gap, and we've got strong momentum behind it. Cube says, how long do you normally hold trades for? Cube, that's neither here or there. It's not the same. The timing is different, right? Because if I'm trading a 2-minute chart on, say, the Forex or the futures market, if I'm trading those markets, then I could be in and out. Someone didn't like me talking about Boeing just there. Who gives a shit? It depends, right? It's like it's neither here or there. Sometimes I'm in a short-term trade. I'm in and out very, very shortly, and sometimes I'm holding on. Like again, if I'm trading a 2-minute chart, I could be in that trade for maybe an hour or two, maybe for a couple of hours. Maybe I'm you know, if I'm in a 2-minute trade, in 2-minute chart trade, then I could be in and out with it within say 2 to 4 minutes. So it just depends on what type of trade it is. Because I have my setup, and then I have the setup. So okay, this could be a longer term play, so I'm going to allow this market to do its thing, or this is probably going to be some sort of short term play. This is probably going to be some sort of short term play. So it's going to be a short term trade. And there's been trades that have lasted for a month. Do you ever hold for months for a swing trade? Cube, it all comes back down to the type of setup it is. That's what it all comes back down to. So I have my setup that I look for, but if I get a setup and let's say it forms on a weekly chart, then I could be in that for anywhere between 2 to maybe 4 months on a really good longer term play. But then if I see my setup on a daily chart, then I could be in that for 2 maybe to 4 weeks. Just depends. So even sometimes when I have a loss, I'm out of it within a few days. If I'm trading the daily chart, that is. Same for if I'm trading like the 5-minute chart. If I'm trading the 5-minute chart, which I do on the futures and Forex, then I'm in and out of that thing pretty quickly. And sometimes I'm in it for a few hours. It just all depends. Some trades I'm only in and out of it within one bar. So if I'm trading a 2-minute chart, I'm in and out the very next bar or the very next candle. And then other times I'm using a scaling out technique, maybe a short-term moving average. And I'm probably holding on to that now, for, you know, as long as I can. And that run may last a long time. So yeah, so John, I use your philosophy of looking for high lows in the SPY. Okay, it's not my philosophy, it's just how the markets work. That's and made a significant amount of money on SPY course today. Did I get lucky or did I use your strategy correctly? We didn't use my strategy correctly, Professor. Because higher lows is 1 out of 4 to 5 rules that I have in my trading system. So it's well, the thing is you went long in an upward trend. That's the highest probability trade in the first place. At least you did that right. What you did wrong is that you just thought that the market was going to continue in that direction without having any rules set up in place. So you got lucky. You got lucky. And then if you did make a good amount of money, I'd take that money and I'd say thank you very much. And you only want to enter the market when you have a certain setup, not just because it's making higher lows or higher highs or whatever. Doesn't mean it's going to continue doing that. That's just telling you what's happening right now. You still need a setup and an entry. What sort of pattern are you looking for on the chart? And then what sort of entry bar are you looking for after that pattern? And then when you get that, then you start wrapping around with some other rules to confirm a high quality trade. So it's it's definitely really important. If you'd like to learn my strategy, guys, and the way that I trade these markets, whether it's the futures market, the Forex market, the stock market, crypto market, all that sort of stuff. By the way, it's the same system across all markets. Then click on that link in the description below and then go fill out the application form to apply for one of my spots to my private coaching. The thing is this, guys, is that the most important thing to you as a trader is that you're consistent. Or no, consistent, discipline, and patient, those 3 things. You're consistent at showing up every single day at your certain time. You're disciplined to only taking that setup that you're looking for. And you're patient to wait as long as you have to for that setup. That's where most people go wrong. And you guys know, right? A lot of people right now have been like trying to short the stock market as it goes up. Because you're seeing these lunatics. You're seeing these lunatics on YouTube saying that the top's in the stock market and we're going to see a crash. And this is like 1937 and we're going to see silver and gold explode. How many times have those lunatics been saying that? Like, seriously, guys, you gotta, it all comes back down to that. It really does. And it's not about me being right. Like, it's not about me being right with the market. It's all about me teaching you guys and sharing with you that whenever you are trading the market, it is really, really important that you have some sort of a setup that you are looking for. Because trading successfully long term is never about being lucky and picking tops and picking bottoms and getting in because it's in an upward trend. It looks like it's a good idea and all that sort of stuff. There's so much more about with trading about with that. So yeah, that's basically what goes along with trading and what happens through there. So and it's totally up to you. Okay, you can be honest with yourself, or you can bullshit yourself. Bullshit yourself simply means you're going to keep trading the markets whenever you just think it's a good idea, or it looks like it's a good idea, or be honest with yourself and say, you know what, if I really want to do this for a profession, I've got to sort my shit out. And sort my shit out means I've got to start trading. I spoke to someone yesterday and he goes to me, John, I've checked out your Master Trader Lab and I've checked out your other trading course, and I can see that. But the problem that I see is that you're showing the perfect setup. And I'm like, yeah, and if you just follow that perfect setup every single time, you will do well. Oh, John, but there's been times where I've had like 13 losses in a row. I said 13. I said, let me guess. At least half of those 13 losses in a row didn't meet any kind of trading rules or trading plan. It was just because you thought or hoped or feared that the market was going to do something, so therefore you got into that trade. And he goes, you're right. And I said, see, it has nothing to do with the trading system. It has everything to do with your mindset. And your mindset is that you're still looking to jump in every single thing. Right, every single thing. And I said, so let's reverse this. I was speaking to him yesterday. I said, let's reverse this. I said, what you see in the education, if you only waited for setups just like that, you'll do well. What's your problem here? Your problem is that you're still over trading. You're still trying to jump in every single thing that moves. You're trying to make money really, really quickly. And all that is doing is giving you a bit of a smack across the head and keep losing money. So that's if you want to be part of these markets, guys, if you want to be part of the trading community, so to speak, you want to do well from the markets, then 90% of your success, 95% of your success is your ability to be able to be consistent, showing up every day, disciplined to only taking the perfect setup, and patient, waiting as long as you have to. I don't care if that's a day, if that's a week, if that's a month. You wait as long as you have to. So anyone that can log into the Master Trader Lab or the trading course and see the ultimate trading system, or they may even see the blast-off system. If you only waited for good quality trades, you'll be 70% right. Or 70% of them will do well and 30% won't. As long as you can manage those losses small enough so you get out really quickly when it's not working for you, you'll do well. See, that's where most people go wrong in the markets. It's that mindset. The mindset really is like, people say you need to work on your mindset. You need to work on your mindset. I always used to say, I understand. You keep saying work on your mindset. What the hell is it? Tell me what it is. And for me, I've only figured out what it is, not by people telling me, because you've got these trading in the zone books and all that sort of stuff. It just comes back down to those three things. First, or four things for you to be majorly successful for the rest of your life in these markets. One, what is the perfect setup you're looking for? That's your foundations. Then your job, if you want to be a trader, your job is to be consistent at showing up every day, disciplined to only taking that perfect setup, and patient, waiting as long as you have to until that perfect setup shows in the charts. You do that for the next 12 months, you'll be majorly successful. You do that for the next 5 years, you're likely to be a 7-figure trader. The end. And anything in between that, YouTube videos, Donald Trump, I heard this, I heard that, this looks really good, or I heard this, and who cares? Throw it out the window. She gone, man. because that's the thing that destroys traders. Trust me, that's the thing that kept me up most nights trading the markets. That's the thing that I'd stay up all night trading the futures market and send me to the bed in tears because I was just screwing up big time. Where was I screwing up? Consistency, discipline, and patience. And the more I work on that and only taking those quality setups, the more I can sleep really well at nighttime. So you have two choices for those who are listening right now. If you really want to do well out of these markets, you've got to have a hard look at yourself and say, why are you trading the way that you're trading? Because if you don't have those 4 things I just mentioned there, the foundations, what is it? What is the perfect setup you're looking for? And then working on that consistency, showing up every day, discipline to only take in that perfect setup, and patience, waiting as long as you have to for that perfect setup. You do those 4 major things. Those 4 major things, and you'll be rocking out with your socks out. Where do most traders go wrong? Over trading. What is over trading? Not consistency, discipline, and patience. I'll tell you that right now. It's the opposite. Raging lunatic. How do I know? Because that's what I did. Raging lunatic. Now, if I don't have a trade for a whole month, guys, I'm good. I'm still happy. I'm still happy. And that's where your success comes involved with it, guys. It's nothing special. It's not the trading system that you have to worry about. It's more about the trading setup. Like you have the perfect setup, and when you're about to get into the next trade, say, does this setup look like this trade? Now, how do you build confidence within that setup? You see it hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times throughout many years. And that's when you start to build confidence, like, man, this thing rocks out. And it's taken me so many years to get to that point. I'm saying if I just only take this setup here, then the world's my oyster. AEZS, do you think it'll have a good run? Well, I don't know. Whatever I think is always wrong anyway, Frank. So it may continue up. I know the market. I know the stock you're looking at. But yeah. So, and within all that, guys, within all that, as you start to get better at having the good foundation, have the perfect setup, then be consistent, disciplined, and patient. Then the next step is starting to manage the trades really well, because some of those profits are going to be small profits, and that's what the market's going to give you. And then other trades are going to be really big home run hits, and that's okay as well too. But how you manage the trades is also a big factor in the markets. So, but after you've done those 4 things, then you start to learn how to manage the trades a bit better, to keep your losses smaller, to try to let your profits run on a little bit more, and so on and so forth. Really, really, really important to your success, guys, in the markets when you're doing that. Really important. So, guys, that's totally up to you how you want to trade these markets. But if you want to be part of the club that actually is not losing money anymore, then that's where it all starts. It is never about trying to pick a top, or the market's in an upward trend. The market is telling you something, but you're trying to fight the market, trying to be smarter than the market. Like people who've been trying to short the markets, and I've been telling them for the last few weeks, it's not the right thing to do right now, because you may be right, but the market hasn't told you that yet. I know, Tony. I know. He gone now. You just missed me having a go at him. That's what you missed, don't you? You missed that little. Nah, I think Jesse's taking a bit of time out, because it seems like every single thing that he was trading was losing money. But you know what? I guarantee if Jesse's watching this on the replay, he'll say, John, you're wrong. I haven't been losing money on every single trade. Trying to justify why he's been doing what he's been doing. Tony, I just hope his girlfriend is giving a bit of a kick in the nutsack and say, listen, man up and do the right thing. If you want to do this, then you got to stop losing money. If you want to do this, this is what you need to do. And it has nothing to do with me, guys. Has nothing to do with my trading system. Has nothing to do with anything. My coaching program is really, I teach you the system, but then my coaching program is every single week I'm helping you get better and better and better at trading that system and being consistent, disciplined, and patient and showing you my trades and all that sort of stuff, which is the very first thing in the description you can apply for. But that's what the coaching is really all about, guys. That's where the real growth happens. That's where the real growth happens. So US dollar, guys. So just have a quick look at the US dollar. US dollar is actually looking quite strong, isn't it? Still looking very, very strong, the US dollar. Let's have a look at the USO. What's been happening with that? Still in a very strong upward trend. I would expect to see some sort of reversal soon out of this one, but again, we're still getting this nice upward trend here, so I definitely want to be fighting that. This is oil here, of course. So very interesting to see this thing continue to rise. So, well, guys, that's it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Got a few nuggets out of that. Once again, guys, if you'd like to apply for my private weekly coaching where you get access to my #1 strategy and have me there every single week helping you along and have access to the private Facebook group where I'm sharing all my trades every single week, then click on that very first link in the description below. Go fill out the application form and I'll be gladly to talk to you, see if it's a good fit for you or not. All right, guys, thanks a lot and have an amazing day.